With NWKS Radio News, I'm Lucas Kenny. Around 11:30 a.m. on July 13th, the Colby Fire Department was called to a fire. A camper was fully engulfed in flames by the grain bins at Franklin and 8th Street in Colby. The intersection of Franklin and 8th was shut down over the lunchtime hours while the fire department and emergency personnel worked to put out the flames. No other information is available at this time. In other news, just past 8 a.m. on Monday, July 13th, a 2009 Ford F-250 Super Duty driven by 57-year-old Don Nichols of Colby was headed eastbound on County Road F, while a 2005 GMC Sierra 2500 driven by 58-year-old David Charles of Oakley was headed southbound on County Road 32. Charles failed to yield and struck the Ford on its side. Nichols and the Ford overturned an unknown number of times and leaving Nichols with serious injuries. For more information on these stories, visit nwksradio.net.
Good morning, Northwest Kansas. Tune up your AC because summer heat is setting in and we're going to have a very warm, mostly dry week ahead of us. Currently, we're sitting at middle 60s across the area under clear skies. For today, we expect plenty of sunshine. Highs will top out in the upper 80s with light breeze out of the south gusting 15 miles per hour. There is a tiny chance of a stray afternoon shower, but most of us will stay completely dry. Tonight, we'll clear out with a low of 64. Looking at Thursday, we keep the sunshine. Temperatures tick up into the lower 90s. Friday and Saturday look beautifully bright with high pressure building, pushing temperatures into the low to mid 90s. By Sunday, the heat really turns up with a 96-degree temperature under clear blue skies. Keep hydrated out there. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
This weekend is the annual Grinnell After Harvest Festival, a whole weekend of a whole lot of fun. Well, we kick it off with NWKS Radio and the Harvest Fest Committee offering a free outside concert with a band that is known for high energy tunage. From Kansas City, Missouri, it's the Smokin' Jays. Now, this band, they can really pump out the 70s, 80s, and other tunes. They're crazy. Now, our sponsors for Friday night include Osmeyer Farms, Holzmeister Construction, Smoky Hill Ag, American Implement, Pioneer Feed Yard, the Equity Bank, Shaw Gaywith Fertilizer and Seed, the Grinnell Locker, S&M Towing, Grinnell Liquor Store, SNS Seed, Oakley Ag Center, Ag Solutions Aviation, and other sponsors. So come on out and join us for a great outdoor party, a free concert, and dance 7 p.m. till after dark in the park in Grinnell, Kansas.
Summer's made for road trips, lake weekends, and getting out of town, and Hurl Chevrolet GMC has the ride to get you there. Drive a new 26 GMC Terrain with $1,750 in total customer cash when you finance with GM Financial. Or take home a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with $7,000 in purchase allowances with eligible trade-in or 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, save $1,000 in the 26 Sierra 2500. Adventure starts at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Online at hurlchev.com. GMC, professional grade.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit, we make it easy to get things done on your schedule. Banking should fit your life, not the other way around. This is Jessica Von Lintel at F&B Bank. Banking made simple.
In a small town, your banker should know more than just your account number. They should know your name. At F&B Bank, we believe in real conversations, friendly faces, and decisions made right here at home. I'm Paige Sneathen, Vice President at F&B Bank, and we're proud to serve your family like our own. Member FDIC.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Garrett Wellbrock.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 KLOE and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
Paglione hits it high in the air, deep center field. Dunn springs back at the fence. It's gone. A 2-run blast for Jack Caglione. Castiglione.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
IdeaTech Fiber Internet, Topside Portables and Pumping, The Insurance Agency, Pest Away, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinner, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Porro, Olmo, the return, Pedro Porro!
Pitch up the middle, and the American League cashes in. Alvarez in to score. Langoliers right behind him. 2-run single, Cody Bellinger.
Vargas sends one deep to left, and no doubt about it, Miguel Vargas, second deck bomb. The American League now leads it 4-0. 0-2, 2 outs. And a high chopper fielded by Baker to first base. That will do it. The American League will end up beating the National League 4-0 after getting 3 in the first and a Vargas blast late. A dominant pitching performance by John Schneider's American League squad.
I think they call it a snooze fest. That was the All-Star game last night for Major League Baseball. I don't know about your thoughts on that, Garrett, but wasn't that entertaining after the first inning of 3 runs?
No, what I said yesterday, want to see some offense. And, well, one team did it in the first, and that was about it.
That was about it, is exactly right. Geez, you talk about man, I don't know, it was just a snoozer. It's all the way I can really put it. And it wasn't like it was like any exciting hits. You know, it was just like a couple of singles, a 2 RBI single from Cody Bellinger, who wins the MVP. But that was about it. And then, you know, it was kind of like 4-0. And then you kind of get that thought. Like, I don't know, I get this thought, especially in all-star games. Like, it's 4-0. All right, well, I think we're good. I think we'll just tap the brakes and coast the rest of the way. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the National League had only 2 hits.
3, I think.
They get a third?
Don't discredit their third.
Okay, well, my bad there. But your boy, Junior Caminero, I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
That was scary. And, you know, maybe the National League and some of the guys saw that and like, yeah, I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit here in this game and kind of start playing it easy.
That's right. That was the plan of the American League all along. Get an early lead, plunk a guy, and then they'll just back off the rest of the way. Oh, man. Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is July the 15th. It is the pretty much midway point of July 2026. Glad you're with us here on the Morning Blitz. No matter if you're joining us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, on the audio stream, or if you, of course, are joining us the old-fashioned way on the radio, appreciate you doing so. Here on this Wednesday morning, going to be another hot day, as expected, like a lot of carbon copy weather days. We're going to see temperatures once again reach into around 90. Could be a little blustery, a little bit more wind here this afternoon. Winds in 15 to 20 miles per hour this afternoon. But once again, lows in the 60s tonight and temperatures in the 90s for the foreseeable future until you get to maybe Tuesday of next week. There might be a chance to get to the upper 80s. So a little bit of a cool down, if you want to call it that. But 90s and temperatures in the upper 90s or around 90 are going to be happening now through the rest of the weekend. We got a full show ahead today. We'll be visiting with Rory Kling. He is the athletic director for the, of course, Fort Hays Tech Northwest. We'll be visiting with him, getting his thoughts on the summer and everything going on for the Tech Tigers here in Goodland. We will have a little fun with 3 up, 3 down a little bit later on in the show as well. And we're also going to talk some Chiefs. Well, I don't want to say Chiefs. Some NFL quarterbacks is how I want to put it. NFL quarterbacks. We're going to discuss this as well, as there was a recent poll results were released and some quarterback names were tossed around. It was interesting to see where everybody fell. Of course, today is also a special day today. We have a in-studio guest with us today. For the second year in a row, Clark Shepner has decided to, for some reason, take time out of his busy schedule over the summer to join us here on the Morning Blitz. And so Clark actually joins us. And Clark, if you want to, Garrett, if you want to pull him up on the video stream, you can see him there. Clark's here this morning. Good morning, Clark. So glad you're with us, Clark. How are we doing today?
Good.
Good, man. Glad you're with us. Clark, of course, for some reason decided to spend a little bit of money and say he wants to join the Morning Blitz, being a part of the silent auction for the Let Your Light Shine. So it was, but Clark, good morning. Glad you're with us. I don't know why you decided to do this 2 years in a row, but hey, more power to you. So Appreciate you coming on in and spending some time with us today. And you're a Chiefs guy, aren't you? Aren't you a Chiefs fan? Or are you the Broncos guy?
No, I'm Raiders.
He's a that's right. He's
Raiders.
a Raiders fan. I forgot he was a Raiders fan.
Well, usually we have Chiefs or Broncos guys on this show, so that's completely out of the way in this division.
Yeah, he's a Raiders guy. I forgot about that. Because last year I think you wore your Raiders shirt in here. Well, he's wearing his bow nose. He's got his bow nose T-shirt on.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he's got a bow nose T-shirt on with the epic picture of the shoulder pads and the bat with Bo Jackson. Sweet shirt, by the way. Major props on that. I should have looked a little bit closer, but the microphone was kind of in the way there. But Clark going to be with us throughout the show today, and we'll get some thoughts already. By the way, the text line doesn't love your Raiders fandom already. Welcome to Sports Talk. Welcome to Sports Talk. They're not gonna like things that you say from time to time. So anyway, we got lots to get to on today's program. Clark, did you happen to watch the All-Star game yesterday at all?
No, not much, but I heard about some of it.
Yeah, like we said, the game itself wasn't that interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of thought like it has certainly turned into be more of a visual production than it is maybe a baseball game, which is fine. It's an all-star game, whoop-de-doo-dah day. But now I feel like it's really turned into a television production, if you get what I'm saying. With something like going on in between every inning or I don't know if it's in between or at the end of every inning. But I mean, if you just think about it, like the thing that stands out to me, number one, was like the Sandlot recreation thing that happened. I don't know when that happened, like in the 5th inning, where they had the kids ride the bikes out during a small little fireworks display. Did you happen to see that?
I didn't catch that. No.
Oh, nobody caught that? Oh, man, this is tough. So anyway, at some point in time in between, I think it was like around the middle of the game, because of celebrating the United States for 250 years, they did kind of a reincarnation of the Sandlot, when the kids drove their bikes out to the ball fields to play games to play baseball underneath the fireworks of the 4th of July. Well, they started up a fireworks show, and then here came these kids out of one of the tunnels on their bikes, 9 kids, and they all rode out and then watched this little fireworks show with the Major League Baseball players, which I'm sure was really cool for, the kids to experience that. But, they have that. They have God Bless America. They have, of course, the 7th inning stretch. They have whatever. It's such a production anymore. How about the starting lineups where they had to come out of the bell and then sign the declaration in the lineup card?
It's just too much. It's just too much. I remember that with the NBA. I don't even watch that game anymore, but the NBA All-Star game too that they have, and it was so just, they're doing events in the middle of the game. It's like, just play the game. It's already, I imagine the players already are wanting to just go home and enjoy their break. Like, let's just get this show on the road.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They certainly make it quite a production. Like I said, the entrances, they came out of a bell, because of the Liberty Bell. They came out of a bell, and then they walked to home plate where they had this massive signing table, and then they signed what looked like a big declaration, but it was actually the lineup cards for both teams. And then they had, I kid you not, they had a Sharpie with a feather taped to it, so it looked like a big quill, and they were signing, their names and where they were in the lineup card. That's what they were doing at now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It was fine, but I did find it interesting, to say the very least. Like I said, it has become more of a production than it is a baseball game. I mean, you throw in, of course, they're trying to get guys to talk to them while they're taking in at bat and playing in the field. Bobby Witt Jr. had that going on. He was getting talked to, which was fine. But then they had Kyle Schwarber up to bat at one point in time. He couldn't keep the earpiece in his ear while he was batting, and so they never heard anything he ever said. Roughly, it's just kind of a cluster, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that plus the Bryce Harper, when he got his at bat, I saw, and they were trying to talk to him, and I mean they asked him something, and he didn't even respond because he's trying to lock in for a pitch. And he ends up striking out. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun in games, but I think it's something I think has gone a little bit downhill in the past. I know they want to get it more, like, it's more for the viewers. You want to make it entertaining, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a purist. I just want to watch a baseball game, you know?
I'm with you in the same boat. Clark, I got to ask, are you a big baseball guy? Do you like to watch baseball much?
I normally just watch the Cardinals.
He's a Cardinal guy. So you were excited after the home run derby because Jordan Walker won.
Yeah.
You were excited about that. So, which is fine. I don't know, kids your age, are you guys watching a lot of baseball? Do you enjoy watching baseball? I know you guys play baseball, but do you enjoy watching baseball much?
It depends on like who's playing. If it's like the championship, then yeah, probably.
So the championship. So you're just going to watch the big games.
Yeah, really.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's perfectly fine. I understand it. It's it's a measuring stick to say, well, how much is the youth enjoying the game, and I feel like I feel like Major League Baseball is trying to bring youth back to the game a little bit more at times, trying to. I don't know if they're being successful at it, but they're trying to do it, certainly at times. So I don't know. Overall, it was okay, but I just figured the game 4-0 win for the American League. They continue to dominate the All-Star game, but it was 3 runs in the first inning, and it felt like it was coasting the rest of the way.
It's funny is the Yankees kind of stole the show a little bit in that first inning with Ben Rice driving in a run. Of course, Bellinger with a 2 RBI single. Maybe if they played like that all season, the Yankees wouldn't be on this downhill trajectory that they are right now. I thought that was kind of funny because they've just been sucking it up before the All-Star break. And then, of course, those 2 guys go off in the All-Star game.
Maybe they need better pitching like the AL All-Stars have, where they strike out the NL 15 times.
Yeah.
15 strikeouts.
Schlittler was supposed to start this game, but he declined. He wanted to, rest up for the second half, but he was there. He was supposed to start it and said they went Dylan Cease, but it's weird. Yankees just interesting team.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The Red Sox, an interesting team too. They're 14-2 in their last 16 games going into the All-Star break. So we'll see. Every team's interesting. Just depends if they're a good interesting or a bad interesting. That's
the Royals are interesting too, but they're bad.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's not great. Oh, it's not great at all. All right, let's move on. So there are some All-Star game thoughts for you. Let's transition into some thoughts on some NFL football. So I came across an article a couple days ago on ESPN where they sent out a survey. Oh gosh, it was to everybody, wasn't it? Pretty much, Garrett, pretty much to executives, coaches, all kinds of stuff. And they were ranking the NFL quarterbacks going into the 2026 season. That's what they were doing, ranking the QBs ahead of the 2026 season. I have that list for you here real quickly. I'll read it off for you and we'll discuss. But kind of going backwards to forwards, so from 10 to 1, starting out at number 10, the 10th ranked quarterback, according to executives and coaches stuff, Caleb Williams making the list at number 10. Caleb Williams making it there at number 10 with Chicago. Number 9 is Jared Goff of the Lions. Number 8, Drake May, skyrocketing up for the Patriots at number 8. Then you have Justin Herbert coming in at number 7. Dak Prescott of the Cowboys at number 6. Lamar Jackson cracks the top 5. Joe Burrow, despite some bad years, he resides in the top 5 at number 4. Matthew Stafford sitting there at number 3. And then number 2, we find Patrick Mahomes. He has been unseated from the top spot by Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. He is the number 1 highest ranked guy, according to, once again, this is a poll of execs, coaches, and scouts ranking the top NFL quarterbacks ahead of the 2026 season. Sorry, Clark. Neither did, is it Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza made the list? Sorry about that. Is that going to be okay? Are you offended by that?
I don't really care.
Are you excited for Fernando Mendoza?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got to say it on the radio. People don't know you're nodding your head.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a really solid piece for the Raiders. So
I'm on the opposite end of this. I think he's going to be a bust. I don't know why. I think Fernando Mendoza. That's no offense to, well, it maybe is a little bit of a shout of the gray at the Raiders there, but I think it will be a bust for Fernando Mendoza. But we'll see. Maybe he'll be really good and I'll be wrong, which that has happened many times before. So anyway, this survey once again has Mahomes at number 2 and Josh Allen up at number 1. Initial thoughts, did they get most of this right? Do you think it's ridiculous that Josh Allen is number 1 despite never have won the big one? Or what are your thoughts on this ranking system, Garrett?
Yeah, I think the ranking isn't that bad actually. When you look at the list as I'm reading it again here. I like Stafford at 3. I
I think Joe Burrow at 4 might be a little high, simply because, I mean, I feel like we're still holding on to Joe Burrow's success from, 3 or 4 years ago when, they made the Super Bowl and made an AFC Championship game. I don't know. I don't think that they have been the team, and he hasn't been the player. I know he's dealt with a lot of injuries, but I think that's something that has to go into account when you're making this list. I think Drake May is a little high too. I know he just made the Super Bowl, but I don't know. When I just watch the games, I don't see him being like, I don't see him as a top 10 quarterback. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I like Caleb Williams in the top 10. I think he had a really good season last year. For the main debate, though, being Mahomes and Josh Allen, I think obviously when you look at stats, you're going to favor Josh Allen, especially last year. Now, Mahomes missed, of course, the last three or four games, but even to that point when he was healthy, I think Mahomes is still the number one. I know I'm a Chiefs guy, so maybe a little bias there, but he's got like nobody's been able to knock him off in the AFC since Joe Burrow did back in 2022. And just for reference, I was a senior in high school when that happened. And, now I'm here in Colby. So it's been some time since he got knocked off in the AFC realm of things in the playoffs. So I think it's Mahomes. And until Josh Allen proves in the playoffs that he can, make a Super Bowl, I think last year was his best opportunity out of all of these seasons to finally get over the hump. Still couldn't. I think Mahomes got to be number one.
I think we have to take into consideration if you were one of the executive coaches or scouts, how are you doing this? Are you basing it upon just quarterback play, like just him, or are you basing it upon what he has to work with on his team? That's the thing that I think about. So are we basing it off of what we got to work with, or are we basing it upon if you just put this quarterback on any team, he'd stick out and be the best quarterback in the league? That's where I think, once again, that's why Josh Allen, I think there's two reasons why. I think that's why Josh Allen has supplanted Patrick Mahomes in this list, is because if you put him on any team, I think you're going to have him find success. And he is finding success in Buffalo, where I don't feel like the weapons are maybe as good as other spots. There was another article that came out yesterday. They were ranking the NFL. It was CBS Sports. They were ranking the NFL triplets. So kind of like your quarterback, your running back, and wide receiver. And who was number one? Cincinnati. Cincinnati was number one in the triplets department.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if and Josh Allen and the Bills were in that list, but I don't think they were very high. I think Josh Allen has to do more with less, does more with less than even Patrick Mahomes does. And I think sometimes Mahomes has to do more with less at times, to an extent. I want to say that. So the thing about Josh Allen is he gets, I think the reason why he is supplanted, number one, is he does more with less. And number two is we've got question marks going into this coming season about Patrick Mahomes and how he's going to look off a knee injury. I have all the confidence in the world. We're not going to miss a beat. We're going to look like we have in the past. But there is always that chance that he could have a little bit of a step back, if we're being honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair to say. My only thing here is we get to January, playoff time comes. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Josh Allen or would you rather have Patrick Mahomes? I think 95% of people are going to say Patrick Mahomes, and that's where I feel like this list is. They're the 1 and 2. It's number one. It's number two. Josh Allen is the second best. I think there's no doubt in that, and I love how these two guys battled out. It seems almost every playoffs. It's great TV. It's great entertainment. I love watching it. I still think Mahomes has that edge because, like I said, AFC Championship games. Even the divisional round several years ago, Mahomes seems to always get them when it matters most.
I'll tell you the thing that intrigues me, too, is that they have a highest ranking and lowest ranking on this article. Mahomes' lowest ranking was 9th. Somebody put him 9th. What are they thinking? That's a long ways down there.
That is a very long ways down.
Oh, my gosh. 9th. I have no problem with Joe Burrow being up in the top 5. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. Once again, can he stay healthy? That would be the biggest thing. They need to improve the line in front of him. I don't know if they've done enough of that in the past years to help him be that, but he needs to be better there. Lamar Jackson, let's see here. I was trying to think. Yeah, I mean, the rest of the list I'm okay with. I do have to admit, before we get to break, I do have a little bit of a surprise. There is no Bo Nix on here at number 10, and I figured Michael would chime in on this, and he does on the FB Bank text line. He goes, boo. No Bo Nix is absurd. Had better numbers the last 2 seasons than 3/4 of that list. If he didn't break his ankle, they'd been in the Super Bowl. That's according to Michael and Bo Nix. So, yeah, I don't know. No Bo Nix is interesting. Didn't even crack the top 10.
I'm not surprised. I think Bo Nix had a really good season last year. I'd put him over Drake May in there if I'm going to be honest with you, but I just don't see really any. I bet he's right outside if there was a whole list of it. All 30 guys. He's probably number 12 or so. 12 to 11. Maybe one of those two range, but. Yeah, I'm not shocked. Sam Darnold not making the list. Is that a surprise to you? I mean, he just won the Super Bowl, came off a great season. I'm a little shocked he didn't enter maybe 10. The 10.
Darnold's in a spot though where, I put Bo Nix ahead of Sam Darnold because once again, if we're just basing it off quarterback play, I'm not going to sit here and say that Sam Darnold is going to be that high because no offense to Sam, he's fine. He is a functional quarterback in the NFL. It just depends. Look at what Josh Allen is asked to do every single Sunday. Take the snap, throw the ball, run the ball. Just get your body absolutely beaten and bruised. Mahomes is kind of in the same boat. Most times he's asked to do everything. Same with a guy like Joe Burrow. Everything is put on his shoulders to lead the team. Sam Darnold last year is how I think quarterback play should be. Complete the passes you need to complete. Move the chains. Scramble when you have to. But turn around and hand the ball off to your star running back and offensive line and let them win games for you. Kenneth Walker was the MVP. They ran the living daylights out of the football last year, did Seattle. That's why he's not up here. They don't put as much on him in those situations. All these quarterbacks here, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams. There's a lot of pressure that falls on these guys to go out and perform every single Sunday because they're all they have. There's too much pressure. They don't rely. I mean, I take a little bit of that back because down here you've got at number 9, Jared Goff, and Jared Goff I think is kind of in that same boat as the Sam Darnold, where you want to run the ball more and rely more on your offensive line and your running game than your quarterback. So Jared Goff might be a little bit, in that same boat too, but I don't know. I think that's the biggest reason why he didn't crack the top 10 personally.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Joe Burrow at number 4. You like that. And I'm kind of opposite, and kind of what you said with the ranking of the wide receiver, the running back, quarterback,
the
triplets, them being number 1 and still not making the playoffs. I feel like some of that's got to rely on your quarterback not making enough plays. I know, like you mentioned, he's been hurt. He's been hurt
so much.
But even the last, I think was it last year, maybe one of the years, last year or 2 years ago, he was healthy for a majority of the season, and still they couldn't sneak in. And I don't know. I think Burrow at 4 is a little high. I would put Lamar Jackson over him. I'm saying 5 or 6 for Burrow, but 4 a little high.
I think I'll just say Burrow, I think, is a top 5 quarterback. If he has if you put Burrow on the Chiefs, I mean, especially with, once again, the mix of good defense, the mix of some decent playmakers around, which he has playmakers around him. How about offensive line? I think that's the biggest thing. They've invested so much money, and we know the Bengals don't like to invest a ton of money, but in him and in Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, their running back's a pretty good running back. He ran for 1,300 yards last year. But then you throw that offensive line has just been questionable at best, and it results in him getting hurt more times than not. And then you have old man Joe Flacco out there, running, in his place. So, I mean, that's just what happens from time to time. So, I don't know. Clark, you got anything to add on this conversation at all? Anybody you don't like in this conversation? Anybody you think that should be in there?
No.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty good list.
He likes the list. Clark says he's all for it. So, all right, let's get to a break. We're at the bottom of the hour, 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Central Time on this Wednesday, July the 15th. Once again, our opening segment sponsored by our good friends at R&R Custom Building. Your 2 local football coaches and construction guys, Mike and Dax Reese, have plenty of years of experience and 20 different gutter color options to get your home looking right, particularly if you need new gutters with all the storm activity that's been happening in our listening area. And of course, they are giving $1 back per foot installed to a GHS program of your choice, no matter what it is. Upgrade your gutters. Get back to the Cowboys and Cowgirls with R&R Custom Building. 785-821-1432. That's 785-821-1432 for R&R Custom Building. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. In studio next, Rory Kling, Athletic Director for Fort Hays Tech Northwest. What's the summer been like for the Tech Tigers? We'll get to that next here on the Morning Blitz.
Your business was built right here, so was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors, for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with Skyland Grain. Today is Wednesday, July 15th. Grain stronger only overnight. September corn higher 4 3/4 at 442.5. December up 5 cents at 464.5. September soybeans up 1 3/4 at 11.82 1/4. November beans up 1 3/4 at 11.92 1/4. Kansas City wheat, the September contract higher 23.5 at 701.5. December hard red wheat up 22.5 at 715. Chicago wheat, the September contract higher 21.5 at 665.5. December up 20.5 at 679.5. On the livestock side of things, August live cattle lower $3.37 at 231.57. August feeders down $4.57 at 349.62. Lean hogs up 30 cents at 95.25. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $114 at 52,905. The S&P up 21 at 7,612. The Nasdaq up 193 at 29,984. Gold higher 20 cents an ounce at 4,069. Crude oil up 45 cents a barrel at 79.79. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. In our Kansas City office, Tyler Dosch, Tom Slido, or Jared Law at 913-748-3000. Or our Ulysses, Kansas office, Cindy Warner, Austin Wright, or myself, Kate Thompson at 602-356-7800.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
The drought monitor for Southwest Kansas looks a whole lot better now than it did this spring. And right now you've got long days, warm soils, and a real chance to turn that moisture into something valuable. Warm season annuals like sorghum sudan, pearl millet, and cowpeas will take everything this summer has to offer and put it back in front of your cattle as quality feed. I'm Keith Burns with Green Cover Seed, and we can help you pick the right mix for your ground and your goals. Call 402-469-6784 or visit greencover.com.
If you want to really protect your corn and soybean acres, you need to take your protection to a whole new level with Elevest Insect Control. Elevest Insect Control provides fast-acting, long-lasting residual and broad-spectrum control of Lepidopteran insects and many other pests, including stink bugs. Elevate your ROI, elevate your residual control, and elevate your efficiency with Elevest Insect Control. Visit your FMC retailer or elevest.ag.fmc.com. Elevest Insect Control is a restricted use pesticide. Always read and follow all label directions.
From the headlines to the highlights.
It's good! The Wildcats are champions of the Big 12!
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right, a couple thoughts from the text line before we welcome in Fort Hays Tech Northwest Athletic Director Rory Kling. Let's see. Michael, going back to Drake May on our conversation for the first segment, says all he had was the long ball. So why is he in the top 10? Rob says, is Bo Nix in the mix? Nice rhyme there, question mark. Casey better not overlook Denver in the West. So there's a shout out to more Broncos fans. One texter says, if you aren't winning Super Bowls, you aren't even on the list. That's according to one texter. You got to win Super Bowls to be on there. And Lucas says he agrees with you, Garrett. You guys are like two peas in a pod. I'm putting Lamar at 4, move up Williams. I know Mahomes had a rough year, but I'm still putting him ahead above of Allen. So yeah, way to go with the trend there, Lucas. Way to go out there.
I'll say this. So they have an honorable mentions list at the bottom, actually. So Sam Darnold is the first honorable mention. Then it's Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love. Bo Nix is not even on the honorable mentions list. So let's see here. It'd be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He would not crack the top 17.
He's not even in the top half of NFL.
Yeah, which I think is a little bit of a surprise, but
bit of a stretch, I think.
Yeah,
bit of a stretch. So yeah, that is an interesting thing there. Welcome in studio, Rory Kling, athletic director, Fort Hays Tech Northwest. You got any thoughts on that list there, sir?
Being a Cowboys fan, I don't know if I can really say a whole lot.
Pull that microphone up. You can bend that arm. You can bend that arm up. You can pull. Just there you go. See, it comes up there. There you go. That boy.
Yeah. So obviously, Dak's got to be up.
He made the. He's number 6, so he made it there. So
yeah, but we're not making playoff runs, so it doesn't matter.
This is funny because I bumped yesterday. Rory was on a mission from God yesterday. He was out about town. He was working on licensing vehicles and dentist appointments. Everything goes smoothly yesterday. No cavities.
Yep, no cavities.
Oh, what a deal.
Another stretch.
It was a good day. It was a good day in the Kling household with no cavities. But anyway, I'm glad you have you in. We were visiting for a little bit. He just had lots of different things that I think the lead storyline for Fort Hays Tech Northwest, this is the first summer, I think, maybe in your tenure and maybe forever. No coaching changes across the board. You have a complete coaching staff back again for year number 2.
Yep, outside of just a couple assistants, but that happens almost every year. But yeah, retaining all of our head coaches, trainer, SID, everybody comes back for the 2026 year.
I mean, what is that like to not have that stress to go find that this summer? I mean, that's got to be a big relief.
Yeah, and when Jay was here, he left in the middle of July. So, I mean, it still could happen. Who knows? But we got a month left that till they're here. Or just like we say with the students, they're not here until they're on campus. So we'll see what numbers look like.
That's right. They have to get here, and then we'll make it happen. I wanted to get into another topic that you were discussing when we got in here was about the 5-for-5 rule. And this is something that could pay an impact on JUCO athletics. It hasn't happened yet, but it possibly could. Kind of give where you sit, what you've heard, where things stand right now. And then also on top of that, how would it be impacting JUCO athletics, the 5-for-5?
As of now, there's not a whole lot of trickle down effect from the NCAA level to the NJCAA level. So how many years we'll have, if it's 3 years, 2 years, once their clock starts at that graduation or they're age 19, when that clock starts. There's a little bit of discussion. I'm sure there'll be some conversations at the Board of Regents meeting here in a couple weeks at the national office. But what I would anticipate, there's got to be some age restrictions being discussed because right now there's no age limit in JUCO. So if you want to come back out and have a collegiate career, you can. If I wanted to go back out, I could get some years of eligibility used up. So I've seen it when I started back in 2016, 2017, when Buka was here. He was a 27-year-old wrestler from Mongolia. So seeing those ages competing against 18, 19-year-olds is obviously a different game.
I got to add one point before you get your question, Garrett, but that is one thing that I do find interesting about the 5-for-5 rule is that if you have never, ever played any sort of collegiate athletics or anything like that, or maybe you just dabbled your foot in there and you're 25 and you want to go back, you can't do it now, which I do find to be fascinating a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like if I want to see those stories of those 35-year-old guys that were like, I'm going to go back and try college football because I didn't do it what I wanted to. I want to see those stories from time to time. So now we won't see those anymore, and it's kind of sad. Sorry, Garrett, go ahead.
No, you're good. You were there when Northwest Tech, it was called Northwest Tech, and then of course the transition. It's kind of a two-part question, but what's kind of been the biggest challenge and then also the biggest win just in the transition from Northwest Tech here to Fort Hays Tech Northwest?
Obviously, sporting all the new gear is probably the biggest win, but no
swag.
Yeah, changing everything over. Obviously, matching Goodland. I think the biggest challenge was the initial conversation when we go out recruiting is, hey, Fort Hays State, I've been there before. I graduated from there. Well, we're not Fort Hays State. We're Fort Hays Tech Northwest. So having those conversations initially, and that's going to continue on with our recruiting throughout the years, is just explaining who we are, where we're from. When we drive into restaurants and stuff, they see the tiger on the side of the car and they just assume it's the Fort Hays State Tiger and not the Fort Hays Tech Tigers. So that was probably the biggest challenge. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same. The how we operate's the same. Just trying to figure out how we can win in the Jayhawk Conference.
And it feels like as if, particularly on the men's basketball side of things, you guys have kind of figured that out a little bit more, been more competitive. And I think the women's team is going to probably go in that direction. Once again, it's about coaching. I go back to this, not having to hire a coach. Just to have that continuity of a head coach and a staff going in for multiple years, the difference it can make. And I'm sure you've seen that from your perspective where you're hiring and seeing coaches come and go.
Yeah, similar to when Annie Kasunga was here. It took her 3 years, and then she was in the middle of the pack with us, and then left and went to Barton. So if they can get to that 3-year level, is what I kind of tell all the coaches, it's going to be a grind for year 1 and 2, for sure year 1. But we'll see what happens with Jordan on year 2. He's got some international kids. We've got a deeper roster this year, so hopefully that transitions into some more wins. Barrett's got 40 guys coming in for wrestling. So he was at 37 already this morning. So hopefully just finish up 40. Chris has pretty much a whole new roster coming in on softball. So he's got 16 freshmen coming in, and we're already at 24 girls for next year. So be able to see what we can bring to the table. Obviously develop some girls in the fall. And then women's wrestling, we've got a deeper lineup. I think we were sitting about 7, so we're still missing those heavyweight girls to finish out our lineup. But yeah, hopefully things will trend up as long as they stay here, and we can continue to do what we do. Then hopefully we see some success.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the wrestling coaches' first years as head coaches this year?
Yeah, so Barrett was the assistant, or they were both assistant coaches, Clody and Barrett, and then Tyler left early part of November, and so promoted both of them to the head coach for men's and women's, and now officially their first year as head coaches.
What kind of excites you about kind of the direction they're taking into their first year, and what the long-term vision is for both of those programs?
Long-term, or I guess the vision going into year 1, Barrett has grinded. He obviously was a kind of a mess last year with the departure of Tyler, but what he did, how he retained the guys, to see that many guys after a coaching change mid-year or at the beginning of the season is impressive. So obviously the guy respected him, the athletes respected him, and so to see all those freshmen retain and come back is obviously a plus, and obviously a credit to what he's been able to do. And Clody's been around, I think this is year 5 now as an assistant coach on the women's wrestling side. And so hopefully he can continue to do what he does. He's also a focal point in the classroom because he's teaching biology, biology, A&P, and then workplace ethics and a couple other classes. So he's a focal point on campus, not only in the wrestling room, but in the academic world as well.
How many coaches also do teaching? Do a majority of them do that?
Not a whole lot anymore.
Okay.
Back when Jeremy, Padilla,
the early days.
Yeah. Back way in the beginning when Tim was here, Jeremy, those guys, they taught. But yeah, not really anymore. So they just come in, they coach, recruit, and they focus on athletics.
Rory Kling is our guest here in studio, joining us on the Morning Blitz. He's the athletic director for Fort Hays Tech Northwest. I don't know about you. I'm kind of curious. So, we've talked about all the, I think all programs throughout the tenure here have had some success a little bit here or there. What's it going to take to get softball kind of up and going, in the right direction a little bit?
Yeah, I think, again, it's continuity, retaining that head coach. And if he can build what he's doing, he's already got commits for 27 when I sat down with Chris yesterday and we were looking at numbers and stuff, and hopefully just get some backing. That's part of it, is having some obviously financial support and boosters to be able to bring in some more girls. It's harder to recruit girls to the tech college than any other school in any other community college in Kansas. So trying to get people to come from the middle part of Kansas past 15 colleges to come to Goodland for a tech school is incredibly difficult. But when we added healthcare specialists this fall, so that's kind of a pre-nursing program. So hopefully we can have some more academic programs that can recruit and have a niche for females, obviously in Goodland, Kansas. And so having that opportunity to be able to recruit different girls is obviously a plus, and hopefully can help that out.
Where do you think, the softball team kind of plans to get kind of a nucleus and a core of their players? Is it going to be in Kansas, or is it going to be more like Colorado, dip into, international? Like, where do you think it will be?
We're kind of all over the place right now, but there's a new initiative that started last year where we have to reserve 25% of our LOIs for Kansas kids in the conference. So if there's
that's every sport, correct?
Every sport. So if there's 24 LOIs, Chris has to save 6 of those for Kansas kids, or 5 of those for Kansas, or 4 for Kansas kids. So, but he's
jumping around the number.
Yeah. So, and then basketball's got to have 3. So if they recruit, they can have 12 out of state. So that could be international, whatever. But if they go over that, those kids are actually ineligible to play. So they've got to have those. But Chris has a couple. We got one from Brazil, one from Canada, American Samoa. We had 3 of those girls last year. So we've got 3 more coming in this year. I think 6 or 7 Kansas girls, Colorado, Utah. I think that's about Vegas, maybe might be a couple out there. So where he's from, so kind of all over the place. But yeah, there is a nucleus from Kansas for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that rule about the 25%, because that's across every single sport now that you have, and that starts this year, or was that last year? That starts. So this year. So you got to be able to have the 25% minimum of 25% of your.
So you don't have to fill those Kansas slots.
So you could just have if you
all out of state.
Okay,
yeah, but 75%.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you only, once again, if a full roster of basketball is whatever, like you said,
yeah, the LOIs are 15.
So 15. So if you only got 12,
yeah, so Landon could have 12 internationals down there at Dodge, and no Kansas kids, and he's fine. But if he signs a 13th international, she's ineligible.
How do you think most coaches will handle that?
There's definitely some ways to get around it, that's for sure. So signing some managers to LOIs or whatever is going to happen, but for the most part, we're finding walk-on kids, Kansas kids, giving them an opportunity to be on a team of a sport. And it may not be talent, it may not be what we're looking for, might not be a starter, but they could be somebody that helps in the classroom and boost that team GPA to be an all-academic American or academic All-American, and however ways they can figure it out to be able to piece together and be a focal point of the team.
What's kind of one area of your athletic department that you're kind of more focused on elevating next? Like, what do you feel like is next?
Obviously numbers. That's a big focus point. Ever since COVID numbers went down, that's been clear across the board. I think that's probably clear for every other team. But we have more athletes enrolled right now at this point than we did of all last year. And we still have a month left. So hopefully we can get numbers up, is obviously the biggest piece, because obviously that creates depth. Some variety there. If kids leave, we still have bodies, so we don't end up with 7 on the basketball roster or 6. And we're piecing together a softball team that hopefully will retain 24 girls. So we're not having to have some wrestlers fill in and have a situation like we did last year, where it was the 49 or whatever it was to 0. So some of those things to be able to boost that. But academic success has always been huge for me. I've always wanted to have at least a Department 3.0 average, and we were 11th in the conference this year. So academic success is there. So if we can have success in 1 or 2 areas, obviously wins are important, but wins will come with time. So as long as we can develop that, that's the biggest piece of me, seeing growth even in small steps.
Rory Kling, once again, is our guest, Fort Hays Tech Northwest athletic director. I had another question for you, but for some reason it slipped my mind, and I don't know why. Garrett, did you have another one for him here?
Oh, I guess I could ask some about, the basketball season's coming up. What excites you about that? This JAC conference is so difficult to win in, and we've talked about that before. What do you expect to see just out of the basketball side of things here this next coming winter?
This year we've got Brad's been doing a good job. I'm hardly ever concerned about him hitting his numbers. But we've got some drop downs, some D2 drop downs that are going to hopefully help out. We've got a big that's coming in that started 26 games in the Division II level. We've got some successful JUCO transfers that were at some successful programs. So hopefully that's going to help. We've got Khalil Kelly coming back. We've got some guys coming back that obviously produce numbers for us. So having a good sophomore core along with some freshman transfers that have experience at the 4-year level. Obviously depth is huge, but sizes as well. So excited about what Brad will do on year 3 now. So we'll see what he can do. We were obviously right there. We've always been in there the last 2 years. We could be in the top 5 and get that first round bye, or in the top 4. But we always seem to lose 1 or 2 games on the last second shot. And that's the way it started the season. I mean, last year it was like that. The year before it was like that. Coffeyville, Hutch, Cloud, all on last second shots. And so hopefully we can get over that hump, be able to pull out those wins in the late minute of a basketball game. And then on the women's basketball side, got a lot of internationals coming in this year. So, we're going to see what on paper they look great. Obviously, having an international coming over, they've got to adapt to the USA game. So it's always a challenge, but hopefully we get in the gym early, get that transition, and we're bigger than we were last year. That's for sure. So size should be an advantage. So and depth.
He told me we'll never be the smallest team on the floor ever again.
Yep.
That's what he told me one time.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, and I think it's an interesting topic point. You mentioned the point about how you have that depth. So in case you do, I mean, what has been the biggest issue from your seat on sometimes trying to keep kids here through the entire school year? What has been the hard part about it? Is it just, hey, it's kind of a shock to the system to come out here? What's kind of been the biggest thing in your eyes? Because I think you see it almost every year. It's in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, move-in week, there's some definitely eyes wide open. I am going home, pack me up, Mom, or even that first week. So we've seen that every year. But then I think there's an expectation of what the kids think their talent level is, and then they get into the Jayhawk conference or whatever it is, JUCO level versus high school. There's definitely a difference in athletic ability, and so they might recognize the pecking order and they say, nope, I can go somewhere else. I can go somewhere closer to home, and then they end up leaving. But sometimes there's always discipline stuff. Some are knuckleheads and end up getting kicked out of school in the fall, but there's always a few. But for the most part, retention has been pretty well across the board. It really boils down to the head coach staying around.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. He is Fort Hays Tech Northwest Athletic Director Roy Kling. Roy, thank you so much for coming on in. Appreciate it. Looking good with all that good swag. So we'll have you back in. Congratulations on a great summer. Once again, numbers are up. Coaches are all here to this point in time. Knock on wood for you. So congratulations, a great summer. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Once again, great stuff there. Rory Kling, Fort Hays Tech Northwest AD. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show. Clark Shepner joins us again for edition of 3 Up, 3 Down to wrap up the show next here in the Blitz.
Where do the best memories happen? Not in the living room. They happen out back. Build the perfect backyard with patio furniture, fire pits, grills, and smokers from Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Then tackle that fence, new roof, or weekend building project with the quality lumber and materials you trust. Keep the grass green and work easy with Ultimate All-Season Lawn Fertilizer and Eco Cordless Power Outdoor Equipment. This summer, don't just stay home, make home the place everyone wants to be. With the help of Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Here's a bright idea. Streaming without buffering. It's not 2014. There's no reason for laggy internet and buffering shows. IdeaTech has the technology. It's fiber optic cable. IdeaTech has brought high-speed fiber to 75 communities and counting. Don't put up with outdated internet. Streaming without buffering. Another bright idea from IdeaTech. Get fast, modern IdeaTech internet at ideatech.com.
At Next Tech Wireless,
We believe technology has the power to inspire, connect, and prepare future generations for the world ahead. That's why we're committed to providing the latest devices and dependable service that our communities rely on. And for a limited time, get the iPhone 17e and an iPad A16 with unlimited data for just $50 a month. Next Tech Wireless, connecting Kansans.
Summer's made for road trips, lake weekends, and getting out of town, and Hurl Chevrolet GMC has the ride to get you there. Drive a new 26 GMC Terrain with $1,750 in total customer cash when you finance with GM Financial. Or take home a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with $7,000 in purchase allowances with eligible trade-in or 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, save $1,000 in the 26 Sierra 2500. Event starts at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Online at hurlchev.com. GMC, professional grade.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Quick hits, bold takes, and all the action.
I'll take that action.
Welcome back to the Morning Blitz.
All right, we got a couple minutes left to go on the program today, and so we are going to have a little bit of fun to wrap up the show. Once again, thank you to Rory Kling for coming on in the studio today. Really appreciate hearing from him and getting an update. Once again, feel good for him on once again having a stress-free summer to this point in time. Those don't come around very often for Rory Kling. There's usually lots of stuff that goes on throughout the course of the summer that he's got fires he's got to put out and things he's got to get prepared for the next year. So happy to see things going well for him. All right, gentlemen, let's have some fun. Some 3 up, 3 down.
3 questions.
Let me ask you something.
3 answers.
Answer the question.
It's 3 up, 3 down on the Morning Blitz.
Clark, this is going to be your show, my friend. So you have the 3 questions. Knock us out with your questions today, senor. What do you have for us today?
Okay.
Talk loud, man.
If you could announce any sport, what would it be?
Ooh.
Water polo. No.
Any sport, well, I feel like it's a boring answer to give you, but I would say football. That's probably my favorite sport to announce. All right, it's tough I guess it's really whatever sports in season is my favorite, but I think I like football a little bit more than basketball. Just it's a little slower than basketball because basketball can sometimes get up and down real fast, and it can get a little too hard at times. But I'll go football.
I am actually with Garrett. I would say I love how the seasons change. So I love calling all the sports, but I will change it. If you would have said if there's a sport you haven't broadcast that you'd like to do, I'll throw one out there. Hockey. I wish I knew more about hockey and understand a little bit more because I'll tell you what, hockey calls are exciting and a lot of fun. And I love a good train horn after a goal. I love it. So give me hockey on that question. What's up next for you guys? What's the next question there, Clark?
If you could go and see any sports championship game, what sport would you go and watch?
Great question.
Yeah, that is. Man, probably a World Series game. I think baseball atmospheres are the best. And it's not going to be a neutral site like the Super Bowl or March Madness or different places like that. So give me the World Series.
I don't know why. I guess it would depend on my seat and if a team I really cared about was playing. But I don't know. For some reason, watching the men's college basketball national championship could be a lot of fun, particularly if you're invested in a team. Like, I don't think I'll ever see it happen in my lifetime, but if Nebraska ever played for the national title in basketball and being in that crowd, after going to the Sweet 16 or after going to the first round of the NCAA tournament and being there and seeing that atmosphere, which was so much fun, I can only imagine it'd be on steroids if it was in the Final Four. So I'm gonna say that the Final Four NCAA men's basketball championship. I'll say that. Anyway, what's the final question from you, Clark? What do you got today?
What is your favorite sports movie of all time?
Easy for me. I'm going Hoosiers. Hoosiers is my favorite sports movie of all time. It's fantastic. I love watching Hoosiers.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'd probably go with Sandlot.
Sandlot over Field of Dreams, huh?
Yeah. I think I like Sandlot a little better.
Speaking of Field of Dreams, by the way, they're going to have the Field of Dreams game back again this year. I think it's Twins and Cubs, possibly. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, it's in middle of August. I love it. I still think that was the best ever done one of these oddball games that Major League Baseball puts on from time to time. When they had the moment when they started the game and they walked out of the cornfield, that was amazingly awesome.
Yeah.
I loved that.
That first year.
Yes.
When it was White Sox, Yankees, and then it was like a walk-off winner.
Well, Kevin Costner was standing on the mound, and then here came Aaron Judge and the guys out of the cornfield. That was amazingly awesome. I hope they do it again just like that. They probably won't have Kevin Costner, but it'd still be pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there you go. 3 up, 3 down. Thanks, Clark. Good work, my man. Appreciate that. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Grady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Lucas says, shout out to Remember the Titans in the sports movies section, which I would agree. Great movie there, Lucas.
That is a good one.
Remember the Titans. All right, here in the walk-off, a quick news update for you here. Saw some news surrounding Kansas basketball yesterday. They're going to add a big man, it sounds like. I can't even pronounce his name. He's from Serbia. Milovic, something like or other. I can't even pronounce his name. I try to butcher it. But 7-foot Serbian center going to be added to the last roster spot for Bill Self, I believe. So that's a more size for KU. And the World Cup, the final spot in the World Cup finale will be played for today. Are you taking England or Argentina, Clark? What are you taking?
I want Argentina to win it.
Messi.
But
He's taking Messi. All right, but what? But are you saying you're hoping England wins or what?
Well, yeah, because I don't really want Argentina to win a second time, but also I don't really want England to win.
He's torn. Garrett, where are you going with today's final spot?
I'm going to go. I kind of want England to win. I mean, Argentina's a favorite, obviously, but England's got kind of underdog mentality, and I like Jude Bellingham. He's a good player.
How about Spain? 2-0 over France. Didn't your boy call it so they don't allow goals? I think I did. They do not allow goals. Does Spain? I think they're now the favorite no matter who wins this game. I really do. I think Spain is the favorite no matter who wins. I'm going to take Messi at this point in time for my pick. Although I think it'd be cool to see England get in there. It'd be cool to see that. But I'm going to take Messi at this point in time. Clark, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you doing so. And thank you for the questions. For Garrett Wellbrock and Clark Shepard, I'm Ross Volkmer. We'll see you back here on a Thursday edition of the Morning Blitz. Talk to you then. Have a good one.